Hello friends, welcome to my channel CBSE Tutorials. So from this video I'll explain you the miscellaneous exercise of chapter sets. So let's see the first question. Now they say that they have given us the following sets A, B, C and D. Now set A is given in set builder form. We'll convert it into the normal roster form, and they have asked you that how many subsets can be made. Okay, from these four sets, how many subsets can be made? Like which set will be a subset of the other sets, we have to write. That is, how many subsets are present in this question. So first we will change the set A in our normal roster form. That is, they say it satisfies this thing. Okay, x square minus 8x plus 12. It satisfies this thing. So we will solve this, that x square minus 8x plus 12, the answer. Okay, so when you do 12x square, so if you check when does 12 come, you can see 6 2s are 12, you can check. So x square and then minus 8, so minus 6x minus 2x we can do, right? Then plus 12 is equal to 0. Take common, x square into x minus 6 minus 2 into x minus 6, so x minus 6 and x minus 2. So we got the two values of x, that is minus that is 6 and plus 2. Okay, so these are the two values of x, that is our set A is consisting of two elements 6 and 2. And then they have asked that how many subsets basically are there. Okay, so first we will check A now, and we have to check here is that A is a subset of which three sets. That is what we have to check. So A consists of 6 and 2. Now check where is 6 and 2 present. Okay, so in set B 6 and 2 is present. So A can be called as a part of set B and A can be called as a subset of B. Then check C. There also 6 and 2 are present, so A can be called as a subset of set C. Then check D. In D only 6 is present, 2 is not present. So A cannot be called as a part of D because the elements of A are not present in D. All the elements should be present, only then it can be called as subset. Then check B. B is a subset of from these three sets. Which set can be called as, the superset of the set B. So when you check, B consists of 2, 4 and 6. Now A consists of 6 and 2, 4 is not there, so B cannot be called subset. Then here you can see 6 consists of 2, 4, 6 and so on, like all the even integers are there. So you can say that B is a subset of C. Okay. Then you can see 2, 4, 6. Now here only 6 is present, so you cannot say that B is a subset of D. Similarly for C you check 2, 4, 6 and so on. Since it is a never-ending set, it is difficult to say that it can be a subset of any other set or not. So we will say that C is having the maximum number of elements, so it cannot be part of these sets. Okay, because the number of elements are more, and a part means a smaller part should be there, like some elements should be present. So C cannot be called a subset of any of these three sets. Then D, we have only one element 6. Now check 6 where all is present. Now you can see in A 6 is present, then in B 6 is present, and in C also 6 is present. So D is a subset of A, then it is a subset of B, and also it is a subset of C. So with this we completed the first question. Now we'll go on to our next question. Now let's see the second question. Second question, this is the first bit. Now it says x belongs to A and A belongs to B. Then we need to check whether x belongs to B or not. That is, we need to check whether it is true or false. Now in this question they say that x belongs to A belongs to B, and they also say that if this is true, then x will belong to B. And we need to check that whether this is true or false. That is, whether x will belong to B or not, if this condition is fulfilled. So for this, let us take examples. Okay, let us take the sets. Now first we will fill the left hand side condition. Okay, this condition. Now x belongs to A means what? X will be an element in the set A, only then will it belong to set A. So let us take set A to consist of A, B, C and X. Okay. Now from this we can say that x belongs to A, because you can see the element x is present there, right? So with this we can say that x which is there, it belongs to A. Fine. Then next we have to satisfy whether this statement, that this thing, that A belongs to B. Okay, now the whole A, which is this one, it should belong to B. That is, this whole thing should be one element. So we will take set B to be D, E, F, and then this all should be one element. So we will take one more set inside that and we will write A, B, C and X. That is all the elements of A, and this whole will be one element. Okay, and then we'll close it with our outside curly brackets. Now with this you can see that this full represents set A, and when it is inside a set, this full thing represents one element. So you can say that A belongs to B, okay, because this is the elements of set A, and inside this, all this together make one single element. So you can say A belongs to B like an element. So we have satisfied these two conditions. Now what we have to do is we need to check whether the third condition is true or false, that is whether X will belong to B or not. Now if you check, X is with A, B, C and X. Okay, X, if you say X belongs to B, it will become wrong because X is not a separate element, it is inside this set. And if you say that A, B, C and X like a set belong to B, then it would have been correct. If you say only X belongs to B, it becomes wrong because X is along with this group of elements. So always you have to write this group of elements together, as they will represent one single element. So if you write X alone belongs to B, then it will become wrong. If you say X belongs to A, like it is one single element over here, independent element, then it is true. But if you say X over here belongs to B, it becomes false. So this statement is false. Okay, this statement is false. Now let's see the second question, that is the second bit of second question. Now in this it says that the statement is that A is a subset of B and B belongs to C. Now we have to check that whether this thing which is given, that is A belongs to C or not, whether that is true or false. That is what we have to check. Now again we'll take examples. Now let's see. Now okay, so I'll take set A to consist of one element, that is 1. Okay, now since first we will fulfill this condition. Now A is a subset of B, that is what they have said us. So we will take B in such a way that A becomes a subset of B. So let's take B to be 1 and 2. Okay, the elements of B to be 1 and 2. Now with this we can say that A is a subset of B. Okay, A is a subset of B. We have fulfilled this condition. Now we need to fulfill this condition. Okay, and this condition says B belongs to C. So B as an element should belong to set C. So now we will take our third set, that is set C. Now let's take it to be 5, 6. Then this B should be like an element. So we will take it within a set. We will take it in this way. Now let's take 8, 9. Okay, somewhat. So this is our set C. Now with this we fulfill this condition also, that B belongs to C. Because if you see, this means the set B and that is present in our set C, like an element B is present. Whenever this belongs to sign comes, the previous one is always an element. Okay, whenever there is an element, the belongs to sign comes, and whenever there is a subset sign, always the set comes before that. So we have B belongs to C. Okay, so with this we can say that B belongs to C because this is B and B over here as an element. Okay, over here this 1, 2 like a set is one full element. So we can write it in this way also, that this belongs to C. Okay, so we have fulfilled our second condition too, that B belongs to C. Now next is what? Now we have fulfilled two conditions. Now we need to check whether the third condition is true or false. That is, they are saying A belongs to C. Now we need to check whether that is true or false. Now if you see set A, okay, set A. Now set A consists of element 1. Now we need to check whether this belongs to C or not, whether this element 1 belongs to C or not. Now if you see the set C, it contains of 1, okay, but 1 along with 2 is one single element. Over here we need to prove that only 1 alone should belong to C. But if we check here, 1 along with 2 is together making one element. So this will be true, but 1 alone does not belong to set C. Okay, because this along with 2 is one element, so this alone cannot belong to set C. If this would have been an independent element, then it would have belonged to set C. Okay, so with this we can say that this statement, okay, what they are saying is false. So our final answer is that this statement, what they have said, is not true, it's false. Now the next bit you see, this is our third bit. Okay, so now the third bit says if A is a subset of B and B is a subset of C, then we need to check whether A is a subset of C or not. That is the two conditions we have to prove, and then check whether the third condition is true or false. So we will again take two sets. Okay, now we will fulfill these two conditions. So suppose we'll take A to be 1, and we need to take set B such that A should become a subset of B. So this element should be present in B, only then A can be a subset of B. So we will take it to be 1, 2. Now with this we can say that A is a subset of B, because A consists of element 1 and element 1 is present in set B, so we can say that A is a subset of B because it is a part of B. So we have fulfilled the first condition. Then the second one, you see, we have to fulfill that B is a subset of C. Okay, B is a subset of C. Now this time we don't have an element, this time we don't say that it belongs to, but we say that it is a subset. So let us take C such that 5, 6, 1, 2. Now when you make its subset, you get one subset to be such that one of your subsets will be in such a way that it will be 1, 2. Okay, now if you check, one of your subsets can come 1, 2. Okay, and 1, 2 is nothing but B. So we can see that B is also a subset of C, right? Because the elements 1 and 2 of set B are present in C. That is, C consists of elements 5, 6, 1 and 2. Now if you see, the elements of B are present in C. So B again is a part of set C. You can say B is a part of set C, which means that B can be called as a subset of set C. So again we have fulfilled the second condition along with the first one. Now we need to do, what we need to do is we have to check whether the third condition is true or false. That is, whether A is a subset of C or not. So if you check, A consists of element 1, and if you see, element 1 is present in this. So you can say that A is a subset of C, because A consists of element 1 and element 1 is present in set C. So A can be called as a part of C because the element of A is present in C. So A can be called as a part of C because one of the subsets of C will be 1 itself. So with this we can say that this condition, what they have given, that A will be a subset of C, that condition is true. So our final answer is that the statement what they have given is true. Now the fourth bit you see, they say if A is not a subset of B and B is not a subset of C, then we need to check whether A will be a subset of C or whether A will not be a subset of C. So for this again we will take two sets A and B. Now suppose let us take A to be 1, okay, with set A to be 1. Now we need to take set B in such a way that A should not be a subset of B. That is, the element 1 of set A should not be present in set B. Okay, so we will not take 1, but we will take other numbers. Like suppose I'll take 2, 3. So with this I can say that A is actually not a subset of B because 1 is not present in set B. So A cannot be called as a part of set B. Hence it is not a subset of B. So first condition fulfilled. Then second condition, you say we have to fulfill that B should not be a subset of C. So again B consists of 2 and 3. Now I will take C in such a way that B will not be a subset of C. That is, the elements of B should not be present in C. So suppose I'll take 1, 5. Now with this I can say that B is not a subset of C because if you check, B consists of elements 2 and 3 which are not present in set C. So B cannot be called as a part of set C because the elements of B are not present in set C. So hence B is not a subset of C. Now we need to check whether A can be called as is a subset of C or not. Now if you see, A had element 1 which is present in set C. So you can call A to be a subset of set C. So hence this statement is false. Now if you would ask me that if we would have taken C to be 5, 6, then you would have said that A will not be a subset of C, right? You would have said that A will not be a subset of C since element 1 is not present in set C. But since I have taken 1, this statement becomes false. Now with this, what you understand is that you can get multiple ways to prove that your statement is true. But if you get one such way where you can prove that your statement is false, then the final answer will be false. So you have to find one such way where you can prove the statement to be false. If you get one way also where you prove it to be false, then your answer will be false. So here I took the element 1 over here in set C. So with this I proved that A will be a subset of C. That is, A can be a subset of C at least in one condition. So with this I can prove that this statement is false. Now the next bit you see of question 2. Now over here they say that if X belongs to A and A is not a subset of B, then we need to check whether X will belong to B or not, whether this is true or false. So for this again we'll fulfill the two conditions. So first we will take set A in such a way that X element should belong to A. So for that we will include X in that. Suppose I'll take it set A to be 1, 2, X, 3. So with this you can say that X belongs to A because the element X is present in A, so the element X belongs to A. You can say that, right? Now the second condition which you can see here we need to fulfill, that A is not a subset of B. Now for this we need to take set B in such a way that it should not contain the elements of A. Only then you can say that A will not be a subset of B. So let us take B to be 4, 5, 6. Now with this you can say that A is not a subset of B because you can see that the elements of A are not present in B, right? So with this you can say that A will not be a subset of B. So we fulfilled our condition 2 also. Now we need to check whether the third condition is true or false, that is whether X belongs to B or not. Now if you check, X is not present in set B, so X will not belong to B. Now this statement is again false over here, right? It is false because X is not there in B, so it will not belong to B. If A would have been a subset of B, if all the elements of A were present in B, then you could have said that X belongs to B. But since the elements of A should not be present in B because A is not a subset of B, or you can say A is not a part of B, so with that we can say that X will not belong to B. So this statement is again false. So like this we need to take examples and check whether the statements are true or false. Now the next bit you see, they say you that if A is a subset of B and X does not belong to B, then we need to check whether X will belong to A or it will not belong to A. So that is, we need to check whether it is true or false. So again we'll take examples for this. So all these kind of statements have to be proved with examples. So now we will take set A and B in such a way that A will become a subset of B. So let's take A to have only one element, that is 1 itself, and set B we will take in such a way that A should become a subset of B, that is A should become a part of B. So we will take elements 1, 2. Now with this you can say that A is a subset of B because element 1 is present in B also, so you can say that A is a part of B or a subset of B. So first condition fulfilled. Now check the second condition. Now they say that X should not belong to B. Okay, now here we have not taken X to be an element in set B. So with this we can say that X will not belong to B because we did not take X to be an element in B, so we can say that X will not belong to B. Now we need to check whether X will belong to A or not. Now if you see that X is not present in set A, so X will not belong to set A. So hence this time the statement is true. Now since A is a subset of B, and if X does not belong to B, then automatically it will not belong to its subset 2, that is set A. So with this we can say that this statement is true. Now let's see the third question. Now they have given that A, B and C are 3 sets, and they have given you 2 conditions, or you can say 2 equations, where they say that A union B is equal to A union C, and A intersection B is equal to A intersection C. Now using these two equations or these two conditions, we need to prove or we need to show that set B is equal to set C. So let's start. Now we will take these two and we will prove that set B is equal to set C. So first we will take this one, that is A union B is equal to A union C. Now first we will take this one. Now we have taken A union B is equal to A union C. Now we will do intersection B on both the sides. That is, we will do A union B intersection B is equal to A union C intersection B. Now we will take intersection B on both the sides. Now when you do A union B intersection B, it will give you set B itself. Now I'll show you. Suppose A consists of 1 and B consists of 1, 2. Now when you do A union B, it will give you 1, 2. You do the union of both the set, it will give you 1, 2. Now when you do A union B intersection B, that is 1, 2, this one. Now when you do the intersection of these two sets, common elements are 1 and 2. So the common element, that is the intersection, will be 1, 2 itself. That is the set B itself. So when we do A union B intersection B, we get set B itself. Okay, so we get set B itself. Now the right side, you see we have A union C intersection B. Now over here we will apply distributive method. Okay, that one. Now for example, I'll show you 3 plus x into 4. Now if you have something like this, what will you do in your next step is 3 into 4 plus x into 4. Right, so that is what we do in a distributive method. If you have something like 3 plus x into 4, so you do something like this in your next step, that is 3 into 4 plus x into 4. Right, so we will assume over here that 3 is our set A, x, okay, 3 is our set A, then x is our set C, then B is our 4 is our set B. We will assume something, we will compare this to this equation and we will assume, and over here plus sign is nothing but our union sign. That is what we are assuming, and the into sign is nothing but our intersection sign. Okay, so what we get in our next step is we do 3 into 4 plus x into 4. Now if you check, 3 was our set A and we assumed 4 to be our set B, then we assumed x to be our set C according to this. Okay, we compared this to this, then we assumed 4 to be our set B. And what was our x symbol, that is into symbol? Into symbol was nothing but intersection. And what was our plus symbol? Plus symbol was nothing but union. So this will be your final. Okay, so when we do the same thing over here for A union C intersection B, we get A intersection B union C intersection B. Now if you check, the same thing is we have done over here also, A intersection B, then we have union, okay, union, then we have C intersection B. Okay, so the same thing we have done here, that is a distributive method. So let us assume this to be our first equation. Now we will take the same thing once again, this one, that is A union B is equal to A union C. We have taken the same thing again, but this time, since the previous time we did intersection B on both the sides, okay, this time we will do intersection C on both the sides. So we will do A union B intersection C is equal to A union C intersection C. Right, so we will do intersection C on both the sides. Now this time towards the left side we have to apply the same distributive method which we did in the previous equation. So what we get is A intersection C union B intersection C. Okay, the same distributive method like how we applied over here. We apply the same distributive method and we get for A union B intersection C, we get A intersection C union B intersection C. And like in the previous one, we did A union B intersection B and we got the set B itself. Similarly, we have A union C intersection C. So for this, we will get set C itself. Okay, like the previous one. Now we will assume this to be our second equation. Now we have to take this value. Okay. Now we will take our second value, that is A intersection B is equal to A intersection C, and we will put that value, okay, putting A intersection B is equal to A intersection C, and we will put that in our second equation, in equation 2. We will take this value, put it in our second equation. That is, in place of A intersection C, we will write A intersection B. So what we get, in place of A intersection C, we write A intersection B. From this value we take it and we write it as A intersection B union B intersection C is equal to set C. Now this becomes our third equation. Now if you see clearly at your first and your third equation, the same thing is present in first and third equation. That is, over here also there's A intersection B union C intersection B. Now over here also there's A intersection B union B intersection C. Now let it be C intersection B or B intersection C, it means the same. So the same thing is present in both the equations, that is 1 and 3. And in the first equation this was equal to set B, and in the third equation the same thing is equal to set C. So from equation 1 and 3 we can say that set B is equal to set C, because the same thing, that is set B and set C, were equal to the same thing. So that means they are equal to one another. So from the first and third equation we have proved that set B and set C are equal to one another. So with this I have completed the first three sums of exercise, that is a miscellaneous exercise, and I hope you understood my video, and if you liked it, please press the like button, and yes, don't forget to subscribe to my channel CBSE Tutorials.